Hey guys, today, by special request from Jim, Monkey's End TV, the Palitoy Action Force headquarters from 1981. I've been putting off reviewing this one for a very long time because this has been in storage, but seeing as you asked Jim, just for you, here it is. I'm sure you all know Jim, Monkey's End TV. If not, link in the description. Nice guy. So, as you can see, there is a stack of pieces to this. We've got loads of cardboard bits, we've got loads of plastic pieces. What we're going to do, we're going to look over all the pieces, put it together, and I'll show you the final assembled headquarters and all its features. So we'll start at the bottom. This is the base piece, and unlike the Death Star, this actually has instructions, but they're on the bottom, so when you turn this over you can't see them anymore. Does make it a little bit tricky to put together. As you can see, this is from when Action Force still carried the ActionJackMan logo, so this is from 1981. This is the original series of Action Force. The toy design borrows heavily from the Palitoy Death Star and even includes a few shared pieces. It is, however, significantly smaller than that Death Star. I was quite shocked when that arrived just how big that is. This one I'd got used to seeing, and the difference in size is incredible. So as you can see, we have a fully detailed place situation including a main control room, Arctic Patrol base, vehicle maintenance area, quartermaster's stores, divers training pool, observation gallery, landing pads, machine gun emplacement, and a combat training section to complete the fun. And we do have a handy little thing there that tells you all the contents. So we've got 11 card sections, 12 clip halves, 2 shoot halves, 6 circular stands for figures, I don't actually have those, 2 machine gun emplacements, 2 machine guns, 1 ladder, 1 winch handle, 1 piece of string, 1 hook, 1 pulley, 1 seat, and 1 handlebar. So looking at the contents list, I am definitely missing the circular stands for the figures. I actually have 4 machine guns, not 2. It does hold 4. It also mentions a seat, and I definitely don't have a seat. I'm not sure where it would go. But other than that, I do believe all the pieces are there. So we've got instructions, all broken down by a letter. You can see how the clips work, just like the Palitoy Death Star. There's a bit to put your name and address on. Thankfully nobody's done that. Down the bottom you can see how it's all going to go together. We've got the ladder and the winch pulley system, a demonstration of how to use the stand, and you can see they're made by the Palitoy Company, Colville, Leicester, 1981. So the back of that board looks like this. You can see we've got these holes going around. These are all the floors for the different base rooms. These holes are where you put the pegs to hold the walls on. Not a lot of detail on this one. We've even got a slot for the AF9. I don't have the AF9, but I'll see if I can find one of the Jeeps to put in it. So as you can see, once you put that down, you've no longer got access to the instructions. The next largest piece is this huge runway. It's got a helipad. This actually folds over the base and that becomes the roof. So you've got a helipad on the roof, or you can unfold it and have one on the ground. That's like a wall thing. And on the other side there's a little bit of detail, not too much, and a danger sign, and you can see this one is a little bit scuffed up, and I think that H sign's a bit faded, and there's also a little section there that's going to provide access to the lower levels. So this is one of the internal walls, and we actually have doors on this I think. Oh, that one doesn't open, but that one's die cut, so it'll fold inwards. You've got to be really careful with these though, because they're just held on by the paper. And we can see a chappie in there. We've got some rifles, some missiles on the next floor up. The ammunition chute, that's actually the trash compactor chute on the Death Star set. It's the same piece. And on the other side of that, we've got some fire equipment. We've got some tools. We've got some rules. That looks like some kind of diagram. And we've got a doorway there. This next wall actually features a ladder all the way up it. And again we've got these doors, and I think both of these open, yeah they do. These haven't been opened for years, there we go. So again, you just got to be really careful with them. So details on this, we've got skis, so this must be the Arctic Centre I guess. Lanterns, grappling hooks, rifles, first aid cabinet, thermometer. Then up the top we've got a fire extinguisher and a fire hose. No entry when red light is on. Is that a window or a TV screen or something? On the other side We've got this room, it's got graffiti all over. We've got warning Arctic conditions, so that door would lead to the Arctic Centre. And we've got a diagram on there. So these are actually 2 floors. Where you see a line there, that's where the floor would go. And then we have another wall. This door will look familiar. I'm sure this is on the Death Star. This one seems to open upwards. I think I'm pushing it the wrong way. Yeah, that opens that way on. Not sure what all that is. A pressure chart. Oh, so we're going into the pressure chamber through that door. There's a hook there. Is that some kind of... no smoking. There's a fuel thing. Radiation door on the top. On this side we've got pipes and a fuel gauge. Gas masks, locker. Portals. And we've got some kind of tanks there. Is that no naked flame? Then we have this floor section, which seems to be a base for the D-30. That might be a helicopter or something. That bit, I think that's where the ammo chute will go. And on the other side it's just blank. So that's going to form the floor across the middle. From there the pieces get smaller. This is a jail cell, I think. I think that goes like that. So that hooks in. And on the back we've got a lorry diagram. I guess you're still going to be able to see that from the other side. Then we have this piece which folds there. That's again, I think that's more floor. Maybe that's a wall. Yeah, that'll be a wall. So we've got a picture on both sides of that, but that's just going to be plain. Then we've got this little piece. It's just like a wall thing. And we have this, which has got a little drawing of 3 people on it. I guess this is a security centre piece. That looks like the Arctic little cruiser thing. There's a helipad. That'll be the runway. 6:45. And on the other side we've got the training video with the silhouettes of all the people watching. And the final cardboard piece is this, and this is the observation window for the diving centre. Then we move on to the plastic pieces. Now these are the clips that hold it all together, and they come in pairs. They're all exactly the same, but what you do is you connect each one through the wall sections, so that'll hold a wall, and then with these bits, they're quite springy, you just put them into the floor and let them go, and they'll hold the wall onto the floor. So these are identical to the Palitoy Death Star, only they were black on that one. This time they're all brown, and you need a grand total of 12 of these, which will form 6 clips, so you can hold everything together. Then there is this ladder section. Now this actually slides onto the cardboard, and you've got to be careful when you put these on. But that's going to go on one of the middle floors, and it comes with this. This is the pulley section, and it has a hook attached. So that slots through there, and then that just pops into the back, like that. So you've now got a winch. And then you can take your string, loop it over that, and that then forms like a death slide thing. And you have this piece, this is the handlebar. Put the figure's hands in there, slot your string through, and if you put him up to the top, you've got your figure on there. And then you pull the string across the room, and then you can release your figure and slide down the rope. Then we have the chute, and this is exactly the same as what comes with the Palitoy Death Star, only that one again is black plastic. It comes in 2 halves, but when they're together I wouldn't really take them apart too much because you'd break the tabs. It's not very strong plastic, and that'll just plug between a floor and a wall, and the figures can go through, or you can throw weapons down or whatever. And then we get 2 of these sections. Now these are like gun turret things. That bit there is where you slot them onto the floors, so they're halfway up the building. You put your figures in there, and then what you do is you take these guns. Now it says it only comes with 2, but you get 2 of these and you get 2 spaces for guns. So that's probably why mine's got 4. So in all we get 2 sets of that. Again, you do have to be careful when you put these on because it does tend to tear the cardboard up a bit. So you place them around the building, that's for your troops to stand in and shoot out of. And these guns you'll probably recognise, they come with loads of Action Force vehicles. You see them in black, you see them in red. So they're quite easy to get hold of if you're missing any, or you want extras. So that is it for all the pieces that I have. I'm missing the stand, and I'm also missing the seat, and I've never noticed that before. I'm not sure where it goes either, but we'll crack on without. So on to assembly. This gets pretty big and I haven't got a lot of room here, so I'll do my best for you. Also, like I said, the instructions are underneath the base, so we're going to have to do this from memory. and it's been a while. So we're going to start with this piece, this one with the ladder on it. And what we do is we've got a slot there, we've got a slot there. So that piece there is going to fit into there. Then we fold this around and that slots into there. And we've got a section done. And while we're here, we're going to put these sections through the walls. So you put one in, put the other in, and then you've got to clip them together. And once you've got them in, you're able to then attach that to the floor by squeezing. So we'll do the next one, and then this bit's ready to go on. So just like that, section 1 completed. Now this next section is probably the toughest part of this. We've got to take this piece and we've got to slot it into here. But the holes on this are really tight. So we've got to jam that through there. And then, folding this upwards, we've got to fit it through there and there. And this, you can't help but damage the cardboard when you do it. It's so tight, it's ridiculous. So I had to do that bit off camera. It's really tight. I'm actually using a spare one of these that I have that's a little bit more damaged. As you can see, it absolutely trashes it. So if you want to keep one nice, I'd get 2 of that section if you can get them. So we're going to do the same on this side, and again, it's really tight. I might have to do this off camera again. Oh no, there we go, it's in. So as you can see, when you push it through, it just trashes this cardboard. You can see on the back there, it's lifted it right up. We'll just have to leave that for now. Like I say, if in doubt, get a spare one of them bits. So that's the next section there. We just need to put the clips in. So just like before, you put one in that side, and meet it up on the other. And again on this side. Done. And for the third of these sections, we need this one, which is the diving area, I think. So this one's slightly different. We put this one in the top. So that slots through there. But instead of slotting these in, what they actually do is fit in that hole that's made there. There you can see on both sides, it just slots through. And what that does, it forms a platform for the observation wall thing, but it also forms a little corridor. And then again, we need to put the clips on. So we've got 3 big sections. Each one has 2 sets of clips, and that is all the clips that you need. So the final clip's going in now. There we go. So now it's time to start linking all this together. So we need this section, and we need this section. Now you notice we've got a little hole there and one there. So what we do is we put this section in, and that's going to slot into there, and then you push it down. And then we do the same on this side. And that forms a link between these 2 sections. So then we can start clipping it to the base. Now this green panel is where this smallest room goes. So you push one side under, give the tab a squeeze, and that locks it in place. So that's that room secured now. Then moving on to this one. Again, we need to push that underneath. And the same on the other side. And then that room will all hold together. And you can see you just got to do a little bit of straightening out with that bit. And you notice the floors actually match the walls now. Then there's one more tab to do there. And then moving to this side where we've got the pool, this bit just goes on individually, exactly like the others. And then we can start adding the final pieces. So for the central floor, we take this section and we line that up over those. And that doesn't slot in, it just sits on the top of everything. And then we have this wall section to put in. You could put this either way, but I like to put the training video side on this side. Makes more sense to me with it being green. Now this is tricky. We take this section from the helipad, and that needs to go into those grooves like that. So that slots in that space, and it still gives you clearance to plug everything in. It's easier if you're on a flat surface and not hanging off the side of one. And then you can take that section, fold it all the way up, and you can see at the top that actually fits around all the pieces and holds everything in firmly together. And you can actually unfold that section to form the runway. So moving back around to this side, these are the parts where we can attach these sections to. And again, just doing it gently. They literally just clip onto the edge of the cardboard. And then we can take this ladder, and again that's got to slide over there. This one's a little bit trickier because it's quite deep. If you catch it on the edge, it just folds the cardboard over. So that you can then, obviously you can wind that out and attach your zip line. Coming around this side, you'll notice there's a hole there and there's a hole there, and that's where we put the old chute. So that literally just slots into place. And then if you turn it around, you can see it from there, and that will drop down underneath somewhere. And the only other platform big enough for one of these is over here. So that's the base all complete, so let's put some figures in and I'll give you the tour. So bearing in mind this is Series 1 of Action Force, so we're only going to use Series 1 figures. So starting at the top, we have a couple of pilots in there, and you can see that's the training video room. And we can also use this little platform. If you want to use the guns, you stand them in there. And then we've got this rope section, so we'll just unravel that a bit. And if you take this zipline section, you can actually jam the figure's hands into there. It's not ideal, but that's how it works. And we slip the hook through. You'll notice there's a little pulley on there. So then you can put the figure on the zipline, and then when you lower it down, it's not very successful. Or you can do it the other way and say it was hanging from a helicopter. You can have them sliding into the base. So staying on the top floor, we'll move right, and you can see there's a little corridor that leads to the observation deck. And at the back of there, you won't be able to get access to that until you remove the helipad on the top. And that is the outer view of the observation deck. Next we hit the wall that's removable, and there we have the ammunition chute, and you can see that doorway there leads through back to the observation deck. And the next open section, you can see the back of the chute, and we can see the guys watching the monitors. And above the doorway it says body check. And moving into the next room, we've got a ladder that you can either go up to the helipad or you can go down to the bottom floor. And that takes us back to the training room. So moving down from there, we can see all the way to the back of the playset. You see that danger thing? That's where the runway is going to start from when we open that section up. To the right we have a door that says danger pressure chamber. And then underneath the observation deck we have the diving tank. And in there we can put in the original deep sea diver. Moving on, we have a wall again. And this section is underneath the ammunition chute. We have the quartermaster's store. And this room actually does have a little doorway that you can get into from. And then we have the prison cell, and you'll see the graffiti is meant to be there. It's on both walls. And that leads to this door, which if you open it. And then we have this little room, which is the Arctic conditions room. And that AF9 section is to put the little snowmobile. And the door to that room opens up, and it's got warning Arctic conditions. And this section is where we started. That's actually the garage section, so you can put your Jeep in there. But there's also actually a hole in the floor, so you can have figures poking up through. On the very top is the helipad, and there's a little ladder at the side. And as you can see, this section is pretty big. But this folds out, so we need to take the figure off. And then if you push it there, we can actually lift up the roof. And when you take that roof section down, that allows you to unfold the runway. And as you can see, that runway then makes this set pretty huge. It's actually going to fall off the table if I push it any further. But there's the desert rat again, just to give you an idea of scale. And that runway leads all the way up to this stop sign, which then takes you into the base. So as you can see, this set is pretty big when it's all assembled. Luckily it all folds down nice and easily. I wouldn't disassemble it and reassemble it too much because you're going to wear the parts down. But compared to how much the Palitoy Death Star is going to cost, this one is pretty cheap. It holds loads of figures and it's suitable for most things. So there you go guys, that is the Action Force headquarters from Palitoy. This has been Luke, thanks for watching.